In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the Tech Zone.
Welcome back to the Tech Zone. Paul Amadeus Lane. So happy to have you with me. Our second and final segment of the show today. Why we only have two segments? Because we have some great content we want to give enough time to talk about. In our first segment, talked about a mistake I made buying some refurbished laptop without doing my due diligence, and my friend Larry O'Connor from OWC shared with us some things that can help us to make sure that we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's when we are buying refurbished peripherals, not peripherals, but laptops or desktops out there. I appreciate him being on and talking about that. This is the Tech Zone, ABC News Radio, KMET. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. Wherever you can connect with me, paulamadeuslane.com. I am so excited right now to bring my next guest on. Remember, a few months ago, we talked about a great contest that the Consumer Technology Association is putting on, the 5th straight year that they did this. It was a contest where startups out there could compete to get a booth at Eureka Park. Eureka, we found gold. And these 5 startups that were chosen really found gold to showcase their talents at the biggest tech show in not the world, but the world. I'm telling you, this is a huge honor, and I'm so happy that my next guest came on to talk about this great contest and the winners. So without any further delay, let's do this. And I'm so happy to have this next guest with me. So honored to always talk with him, Steve Yule from the Consumer Technology Foundation. Steve, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, Paul. I always enjoy joining you, so thanks for having me back.
Well, Steve, I am excited to have you back. I kind of talked about it before I brought you on about the contest. Had you on a few months back about this incredible contest, and we have the contest winners now, so I am so happy that we're going to talk about it. But before we talk about the winners, Steve, for the viewer and the listener who may be tuning in for the first time with our discussion, let's give them a little, I guess, tidbit about the contest and what you guys were looking for, and then we'll talk about the winners.
Absolutely. Well, this contest, as I had a chance to talk with you, as you mentioned, I guess a few weeks back or a month or two back, is a way for us to recognize some of the startup companies that are really making interesting technologies, innovative technologies that can really improve the lives of both older adults and people with disabilities. So as the CTA Foundation's focus is really on connecting older adults and people with disabilities with technology, we see this as a way to both recognize some of the innovators that are working in this space, as well as encourage other startup companies to be thinking about how their technologies can make a difference and really improve lives of people of all ages and abilities. So thank you for helping to share this contest, because we had a great set of entries this year, and I'm really excited with this being our 5th year, and we have some 5 really good companies to recognize.
Well, I am so happy I was able to be a part of it, Steve, and have you on and talk about it, because things like this are so exciting. And I was glad we were able to talk to the listener and the viewer out there about how this was the 5th straight year of doing something like this. And Steve, are we starting to see more companies now really trying to make a push towards assistive, adaptive technologies out there for the underrepresented community out there? Are we starting to see more of a push of that?
I feel like we really are, and it's something that I've noticed just particularly with CES when we look at the show floor. You know, for instance, we have the accessibility marketplace, which there's going to be some really cool technologies in that space, but actually what I'm finding is assistive technology is really across the show. So from one end to the next, and whether you're talking about, self-driving vehicles, or the latest TVs and phones and other devices, to health tech, smart home tech. There's really assistive technology across the entire show floor, and that's really a result as we're seeing more and more general consumer devices coming together with the assistive technology world to result in things that work well for everyone. And I think that's a good thing for both the companies that are working in this space and for all of us as consumers as well.
And I know you and I have had discussions offline and in person just about the assistive and adaptive technology stream of things that are happening. And there's one thing that really warms my heart, Steve, is to have the Consumer Technology Association, who puts on the CES, just get behind this. And this is amazing what the foundation is doing. And I feel you guys don't get a lot of enough publicity out there of what you guys are doing, especially for the community that I represent. And I'm hoping as we continue to move forward in this push, in this movement, that you guys really get the recognition that you guys deserve, because this is not only changing lives for ones like myself, but for everyone. Because one thing I noticed about assistive and adaptive technologies for seniors or the disabled, they're able-bodied people who use it too, because it makes their life a little easier. So I just want to beat your drum out there, Steve, that I'm hoping and praying that you guys continue to get this major recognition. And I want to put a call to action out there for some of my friends in the media world and everything. Please, if you're covering CES 2020, go check out some of these great technologies, the marketplace, Steve, because we want to get the word out.
Well, and I really appreciate that, because, the CTA Foundation, we're now closing in on the 8th year since we launched the foundation, but from the very beginning, we made it a priority. We were representing the industry, giving back on behalf of the industry, and focused on how technology can help both older adults as well as people with disabilities. These are two communities where technology can make a significant difference, and yet probably doesn't get the attention that it deserves. We're seeing that change. We're seeing more and more companies focus on this space, but we see a lot of opportunities as well. So, our foundation over this 7 years or so that we've really been giving out grants and programs has given out over $4 million in grants to nonprofits all over the country. We see a lot of opportunities to do this, and I would love to talk to more people about the work we're doing, and really the work that the organizations we're supporting are doing, using different types of technologies, because there's so much good work going on out there that really could use more people to get involved. Certainly people can go to ctafoundation.tech, it's .tech, and learn more about what we're doing and all the groups we're supporting. But there's certainly a lot further we can go as far as creating the awareness and getting more people involved.
Awesome. Well said. Well, in the words of Mr. T, I'm going to quit jibber-jabbing right now, and we're going to talk about some of these amazing winners. Now, Steve, can you let us know how many people actually, submitted things for the contest? Can you share that with us?
We had actually, after we went through and did a review on the number of ones that were qualified, met the Eureka Park guidelines, and met the other criteria for the contest, we had about 36 entries, I believe, to go through. So quite a few entries. And I'll be completely honest, we could have selected far more than the 5 that we did, and been very happy with the potential winners. It was a really tough choice for the judges as they went through, but I think we had a really good selection to choose from, and I'm excited to share the winners.
Awesome. So let's do this, my friend. So who is a recipient of an amazing booth over at Eureka Park?
So the 5 companies, and we don't rank these companies, so it is the 5 winners. They are all equal winners in the contest, so I'm just going to list them alphabetically, and then we can go back and talk a little bit about each of them and the work that they're doing. But one is Access Explorer out of Louisville, Kentucky. 2 is Intuition Robotics with an office in San Francisco, California. 3 is Loro out of Boston, Massachusetts. 4 is Miron out of Long Beach, California. And 5 is Translate Live out of Clearwater, Florida. So companies from all over the U.S. doing really different types of work, but I really love that there's a diverse set of focuses from these companies. So going back through them, Access Explorer is focused on indoor navigation for the blind. So they have an app called Kavu that is essentially uses Bluetooth beacons to help people navigate, whether it's in airports or metro systems, malls, other locations along those lines where GPS systems don't necessarily work. But on top of just using the Bluetooth beacons, they have a whole system where they go through with LiDAR and actually map out all these locations. And it's very important for the blind and low vision community, but quite frankly, for all of us as we're landing at an airport and trying to figure out where's a place to plug in our phone, or where's the closest restroom. This type of information can be really valuable for every one of us. So really excited to have them involved. Looking at Intuition Robotics.
Steve, if we could pause it just for a second, looking at Access Explorer, you mentioned LiDAR. Now, that's the same kind of technology that they put in autonomous vehicles as well, too. Is that correct?
That is correct. So, essentially what it does is it uses these lasers to kind of map out and get a good picture of what's going on around around, so they can essentially map out the entire building, and then they can lay the various points of Bluetooth beacons on that, map all the kind of major points that people would be interested in knowing about, and then essentially the app will be able to take all that information and help someone navigate as they're going through indoors. So it would be very similar to what you are experiencing outdoors with GPS, but being able to do it indoors. This is actually a space that CTA had a standard project on indoor navigation earlier this year, so we're really excited to see a company that's already been working in this space and doing some really interesting innovation.
That is so awesome. And you, before I cut you off, you're talking about Intuition Robotics. Where are they going to show us at the show?
So they have essentially, I guess you could almost call it a caregiving robot. So it's a product called LEQ, and it's all about addressing social connection. And this is something particular for seniors, but quite frankly for people with disabilities and a lot of us. Social isolation is a major concern. There's been some research that compares that to smoking 15 cigarettes a day as far as the health impact on being socially isolated. So they've created this little kind of desktop robot that has, part of it is kind of a movable robotic assistant that can do things like, engage as a voice assistant might, but it also kind of moves and lights up in different ways to get people engaged. It can help be proactive and engage people if they haven't been, talking to people, haven't been, connecting with family. It also does have a tablet aspect to it, so it can play movies and YouTube and other content like this. I'm sure everyone on there is going to be watching the Tech Zone stream through the product. So it's really a great way to get people engaged, and particularly for the senior community.
I love it. And Steve, you and I, again, we have a lot of conversations either through email or in person or even chatting up on the phone about just the social aspect of what technology plays, and that cannot be understated, because when we're isolated at times, I think back to when I first got injured from an automobile accident over almost 27 years ago. I remember just being at home and being isolated, man. I didn't feel good. I just wasn't myself. And to have technologies that help this out, I think, Steve, this is a home run.
Oh yeah, I think it really is an important piece, and what I also like about it is it's helping also connect people to other people. So through video calling, through other features. So the robot is a piece of it, but it's also helping to create the broader connections, because technology is a tool. It's something that's going to help all of us stay connected, but it doesn't replace, the interactions of us being able to be here and talking together. This is really the important piece that we're trying to get to.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, the next one on the list, who gets a booth, I believe, is it Laurel?
It is Loro, and they're out of Boston, Massachusetts. And they're actually using AI, but it is also actually a product for people in wheelchairs. So they originally were working with kind of the ALS community, but they've engaged with a variety of people who are quadriplegic, paraplegic, other spinal cord injuries. And essentially it is a 360-degree camera that is able to be controlled, whether through eye gaze, via a joystick, via a variety of different types of interfaces. But then it also ties in things like being able to tell what's going on around you. So if you have problems, turning your neck and seeing, what's to the side of you or what's behind you, it can help provide some of that information. It has AI built into it as well, so it can help to recognize different things around you, recognize different people around you. And then for people who need augmented communication, it can help to prompt them with things that they might be interested in. So if you focus the camera in on a bottle of water, it might prompt you to say, I'm thirsty or something along those lines, because it can basically pull that information in and understand what you might be looking to speak if you don't have the ability to speak yourself. So I think it's a really interesting product. I'm actually really interested in hearing your perspective on it when you get a chance to see it as well.
Yeah, I'm like blown away, my friend. I'm looking at it right now, and we're showing some images right now on the screen, and this is I'm like, wow, and this helps us to live that independent lifestyle, and that does so much, for us socially. It's like, I'm so excited, Steve. I'm like, I can't talk right now. This is like, wow, I'm so impressed, and I'm looking at the hands-free technology. You can have the tablet, you can have the your smartphone, and I can't tell you how many times I've run over phones because I dropped them off my lap and things like that. So this is like truly, truly awesome, and just being able to be connected, independence, and if your family or caregivers are need your help or something, there's a way they can find out where you're at. I mean, this is like, wow. I'm blown away. See, I can't wait for CES. We're 2 months away, and I want it to happen now. This is super cool, man. This is awesome.
I have enough planning still to do, so I'm not quite ready to do it quite yet. But we'll get there, and believe me, I can't wait to see all this stuff in person with you, and as well as kind of across the show. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be just a great time throughout.
Steve, I'm gonna get a sidecar for my wheelchair, so you can just sit on my sidecar. We can go traverse the show floor together. Okay, we'll do that. Okay.
Awesome. It's a date. I'm there.
Sounds good. So what was the other company that's getting this amazing honor to be at CES 2020?
So the next company up is actually one who I believe you are aware of, a company called Miron and Miron VR. And the way that they're using virtual reality to help engage people in rehabilitation, to engage people with physical therapy was something that really stood out to us. And, I really see it as a important technology as we look at the future for AR, VR, XR, all these new spaces, but really the opportunity for it to provide a benefit for both older adults and people with disabilities. So this was one that was excited to have included as well.
Yeah, this is awesome. I've been knowing these cats, for a long time, and just see where they're at today. It's truly amazing. Have you had a chance to try it out yet, Steve?
I actually have not had a chance to try it out. So I've seen, the demos and things that they submitted with their application, but I have not had a chance to see it. But I'm looking forward to doing that at CES. So, but it's very exciting. We actually saw a few VR entries this year, and it's really interesting to see where this space is going. And I think the Miron team's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And you and I got to go over there together and shoot a video together, have some fun. They have this one game called like dinosaur or something, and whenever I play it, Steve. I hum the Jurassic Park music, bum, 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 bum. So you and I got to reenact Jurassic Park, and we can say spare no expense. All right, my friend. So what was the last recipient that you guys chose, or the winner you guys chose?
Yeah, and the last, but certainly not least, once again, these are just in alphabetical order. There's not a ranking between them, but the last one is Translate Live, and they have a device called Instant Language Assistant. And essentially, it's almost like kind of two tablets put together that can do real-time, speech to text, but also do translation during that. But it's also very important for people who are deaf or hard of hearing and the ability to get that real transcription done in a accurate and great fashion, but also being able to tie into, they integrate Braille devices so the deafblind community can interface with it as well. They can tie in video relay services so people who speak ASL can engage with it as well. So we saw this as a great way to engage with people, to communicate kind of regardless of age or ability, and I could see this really being used in a wide variety of different situations to help people as far as communication goes, and especially when we're going to be at CES, where we have people coming together from all over the world with all different types of abilities. I think this is a really interesting product in this space as well. So, yeah, all five of these companies, I'm just really impressed with what they're doing, and whether it is for people in the mobility space, people in the hearing or vision or cognitive disability space. There's so many innovations, and as I said, we could have chosen another 5 or 10 or more, and there's just so many innovations, and I can't wait to see them all at CES.
I am with you. I am getting so excited. And Steve and I are going to talk more before CES and everything. If there's anything else we can share with you about things during the show. But wow, this is awesome, Steve. I am just so blown away. Again, I mentioned this about what you guys are doing to help fight the cause with us out there for the aged population, for the disabled population, and to have these different companies out there, these startups, to showcase what they have at CES 2020, and then also over at the accessibility marketplace. It's music to my ears, my friends, because I've shared this with the audience. I've been covering CES when I was in the consumer electronics field myself, when I had my store since 1997. And just to see things change over the years, especially with accessibility, it truly warms my heart, my friend. To keep up the fine work. And again, how can people find out more information about the foundation, keep abreast of all the things that you guys are doing?
So they can go to ctafoundation.tech, and that will have all the information about the work we're doing as a CTA Foundation. We are also going to be updating it with all the content that we're going to be doing at CES. So in addition to working with these winners, we have a number of other programs and activities that we'll do throughout the week, all about spreading the good word about the types of technologies that can really make a difference in the lives of older adults and people with disabilities. So thank you for your work and creating awareness about this issue. I can't wait to hear what you find at the show, and I will certainly be sharing my notes with you as well, because that's one of the things I really get a kick out of at the show, is hearing from people who go around and find things. We try to get as many of the products that we know about and highlight those going into the show, but there's always something there that you just kind of stumble across and really can be life-changing technology. So I look forward to hearing from you and what you are going to find this year as well.
Absolutely. I will love to compare notes with you, my friend, and hang out and do all the great fun things we do at CES 2020. Great talking to you, my friend, the Executive Director, the highest degree of declaration, Steve Yule, joining me. Great talking to you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoyed having my pal, Steve Yule, on. The Executive Director, the highest degree of declaration, the Consumer Technology Association Foundation, talking about this great contests and these great companies that got chosen to be a part of CES 2020. I'm looking forward to interviewing them too and find out about this honor, about showcasing all their talents in Las Vegas coming up in a few months. All right, folks. Well, it's time for me to hit you up with the deuces. Bam! That's the best that the deuces get because of me being a quadriplegic, but you know what I mean. But until next time, folks, I love you all. Until next time, take care.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.